Welcome to the Software People Stories. I'm Shiv.
I'm Chitra.
And I'm Gayatri.
We bring you interesting, untold stories of people
Associated with the creation
Or consumption of software-based solutions.
You'll hear stories of what worked,
and sometimes what didn't,
you will also hear very personal experiences.
and insights that would trigger your thoughts
And inspire you to do even greater things.
Today, I'm in conversation with Janakiraman Srinivasan, known as Jani, who's currently the chairman of Pro Technologies, a startup in cloud technologies, and also the president of the Indo-Japan Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Prior to this, Jani was the president and CTO of Mindtree and also was one of the co-founders and a board member. He had a very illustrious career with Wipro before that. In this conversation, he talks about his childhood days in Kumbakonam, Tamil Nadu, and how he got into Wipro as employee number 3. He also talks about his father's role in getting him a good education, and more in terms of his career, about being among the first employees in a newly launched company and taking on various roles, such as setting up an R&D activity, setting up a factory, and how the significance of having strong bonds with colleagues, which was the early culture at Wipro that stressed on many core values. His experience of setting up a system integration or a system engineering group and moving to Chennai for personal reasons and taking on roles of field engineering, which is something totally new to him, and how he was able to manage a large team as well as get into handling the business side of things. His role as a product manager for the microsystems, which required a completely different business model to be mastered, and about getting an opportunity to be elected to become the R&D head at Wipro and launching the product engineering services business to take the R&D expertise to the customers, growing this team from about 350 to 2,200 persons. With that, we kind of pause for this episode. His story continues, and we talk about his story with Mindtree and beyond in the next episode. Listen on. Hi, Jani. Welcome to the Software People Stories.
Good, Guru. Nice to catch up with you.
I've always been curious. I've followed you, even though we've not probably had occasions to interact in detail. So I'd like to start with your origin story. You can say how you got into IT and then what has been the various things that you've been doing. We can take it from there.
Sure. I belong to a place called Kumbakonam. Some of your audience may know, but many may not know. It's in Tanjore district of Tamil Nadu. Most of my elementary school I did at a place called Swami Malai, which is closer to Kumbakonam. And then the higher secondary and PU I did at Kumbakonam. Then was lucky enough to get into REC Trichy, which is now called the NIT Trichy, National Institute of Technology Trichy. And did my BE over there. Did the electronics and communication. It was a 5-year course at that time. And soon after the engineering at REC Trichy, I did my M.Tech from IIT Chennai. And at IIT Chennai, I had 3 job offers. One was from DEAL, Dehradun, Defense Electronic Application Laboratory. And another one was SAIL Ranchi. And the third one was a newcomer into the campus interview, which was Wipro. And I chose Wipro not because of any other reason other than it being at Bangalore and closer to my hometown, and I'll be able to visit my parents and I'll be able to take care of them. But after joining, I got to know I was the 3rd employee at Wipro actually, when it started getting into the IT field.
A wonderful coincidence. Just a couple of days back, again for the podcast, I was talking to Victor.
Oh, Victor was the first employee.
Yeah, he was the first employee, right.
And Dr. Sridhar Mitta was the 2nd and I was the 3rd actually.
Oh, I think I should then catch him also. Okay.
Yeah. So I can say 3rd to 5th because 3 of us joined together at that time. Okay. 2 from IAC and 1 from IIT Chennai. So among the first 5. And for me, it was a wonderful journey reaching Wipro at that time, mainly because my father was a postal clerk in the early stages. And at the time of retirement, he became a postmaster. And for him to make me study at REC Trichy, though it was a government college and then we had scholarship, still it was a tough thing. But still his tenacity and his interest and passion to see that I go for good studies helped me to make me what I am. And the Wipro story, all of you know, it had been a right place at right time. I can say I was lucky, and Wipro took off very well. So that's where I started my journey. Actually, maybe from here you can ask follow-on questions, and then I can answer some of those.
Yeah, so even in Wipro, as a fresher, when you got into a company that was growing, as you said, how was that experience?
Oh, that experience was amazing, I can say. Actually, being a early member, sometime, you get an opportunity to work on so many things, actually. We started the office at 45 Dickinson Road. It was a basement, actually. Like many startups, they talk about a garage story. We have a basement story because I remember the monsoon used to be hectic those days. And one of the day, the whole basement was underwater, actually. So we started there with hired chairs from a place called Saleh Ahmed in Shivaji Nagar. And, we need to do everything, right from making the lab to start with there. There is no infrastructure. We have to take a room that we converted to lab, and then we need to take a standard table that was available in the market. We had to go to Bamboo Bazaar to get reapers to put linoleum sheet and then the beading around. It starts right from there, to finding out, air conditioner, finding out stabilizer, setting up the whole environment for R&D. And having done the first 1.5 years in R&D, where we had a product ready, we need to set up manufacturing. So we set it up again at Mysore. It started in a house at Gokulam Colony in Mysore. And the first computer was assembled over there by us. But having assembled it in the hall, we were not able to take it out for shipping because the door frame was smaller than the computer size. And we had to remove the door frame to take the computer out, actually. So like that, the experiences that you get is the grounds up, in terms of setting up an organization, setting up the team, setting up systems and processes, deciding on kind of technology that we need to adapt, the manufacturing processes we need to adapt, finding places. For example, at Mysore, we finally moved to a place called Belagola Industrial Area. And then the factory needs to be laid out. So even the plan being reviewed, even though I have nothing to do with civil. Like that, the experiences had been tremendous being a early member, actually. And the pride when things grow up and do well.
So I'm sure in those days, it would also be the camaraderie and all of you coming together as a team, creating all this. So as the company grew, were you able to maintain the same kind of closeness to your colleagues, or how did that change?
See, the thing is, when you join midway and leave midway, many a times that emotional connect will be limited, actually. Whereas, when you start growing up as a team together, the bond develops beyond the business, beyond your work, to some extent into the family also, where families get to know each other. We know the freshers who are joining, who are getting married, who are getting kids, and then, having celebrations. So many occasions that connect, people together. And there is nothing like a success that bonds also, actually. And luckily, we had series of successes at Wipro. So we had several moments and milestones to remember, to celebrate. And even today, the team of Wipro, which is the early team. We call it as Wipro R&D pioneers. We have a group and we have around 125 people. Every day we are communicating, and it is only experience sharing, no forwards, no politics, nothing else, but much more of either the experience that they gained at Wipro or beyond Wipro, what are they doing, how are they doing, and then how we can help each other. So the bond goes much beyond, and it lives through. Even though I left Wipro in 99, I know even today, after 23 years of that, I can see that the bond is continuing. That is mainly because it's the early stage organization where the teams were smaller and we were able to grow together. But another thing that I had to say is, Wipro had a different culture altogether. It didn't have a hire and fire culture. It didn't have a quarter-to-quarter culture. For Wipro, always right from beginning, Mr. Premji used to say that people are the greatest asset. And you nurture people, our organization will automatically grow. And when people are the assets and people are at the center of the organization, then the level of bond that you develop with the organization and among your people and leaders is something amazing.
Oh, that's nice. And you said that you started being a technical, including assembling computers and all that. But as the company grew and as your responsibilities grew, you might have probably seen a change in the kind of responsibilities or what you spend time on, whether it is leading a team or leading a business, etc. So how have those transitions been for you? And did you have to make any changes in your own ways of working?
See, some of the changes that I had gone through at Wipro were because the organization needed. And some of the changes that happened were because my family situation or the need that came. But all of them, when in hindsight, when I look back, that led to amazing level of exposure, which made me as not only a technical guy, but to some extent as a business leader down the line. Let me tell you, I was telling you that the first 1.5 years was R&D. We tied up with a company called Sentinel Corporation at Cincinnati, US, to buy the base level technology. And then we did indigenization, and then we did enhancement, and then we made the product ready in the first 1.5 to 2 years. And then the next 1.5 to 2 years, I was roped into manufacturing with the understanding that I'll go back to R&D, but help the manufacturing people to understand the computer, the architecture, the testing, the quality control, and so many other aspects. So that gave me exposure to the manufacturing process. While setting up, you also end up learning actually. Having done that somewhere around 2013 middle, 1983 middle, 1980 middle, I joined Wipro. 1983 middle, I came back to R&D. And when I came back to R&D, I was given a unique opportunity actually, where R&D, you think of products, where you think purely from technology angle, not so much from a manufacturing or maintenance angle. Sometimes the engineers don't have that bird eye view of looking beyond technology. So my manager, who was Dr. Sridhar Mita, he asked me, can you head a group called System Integration Group, where the R&D people will develop products. But since you have a manufacturing experience also, making it as manufacturing worthy will be your responsibility. That means right from the design stage, get involved and look at what are the aspects that need to be covered from manufacturing, from the field support angle, and provide that. So that was a third experience, being an R&D guy, then being a manufacturing, then being a system integration or system engineering guy. Today we call it a system engineering. And then came these changes were more because the organization needed. But in 1985, I had entirely a different exposure that came up because I needed it actually. It is mainly because when my father retired in 1985, my brother was 14 years younger to me. He was still in school. And we wanted my father to settle down well at a place, and we chose Chennai as a place. So the base got shifted from Bangalore to Chennai. And my father and mother, they never had their own roof. Always, it was in the post office behind, there will be a quarters or a place which will be dilapidated because it's a government office, and we need to stay there. So I thought I should give them a good shelter actually. So I decided that we will buy an apartment with my father's retirement money and then my own loan. But if I had to take a loan, then I won't be able to manage my own life, because by the time I was married. So I went to the organization and told that I have a problem and I have a financial constraint, and I have two choices. One is to leave Wipro, which I don't want to do, but if I have no choice, I'm have to do. And another one is for me to find a job opportunity at Wipro at Chennai. And Chennai was not a R&D center. Chennai was a southern region headquarters for sales and support. And so organization, that is Dr. Mitra, took it up with rest of the organization at Wipro. And then he came back to me and then he told me, hey, Jani, since this is not your desire ever, but you want to come back to R&D, and it's only a short span of 2 or 3 years when you have to manage your finances, we have found a job called field specialist. You go there, you have the R&D experience, you have the manufacturing experience, you have the system integration experience. You be the field specialist for the southern region. Whenever there is any critical call or problem comes up and needs a technical resolution, instead of they relying on manufacturing or R&D, they can come to you and you should be able to resolve. So that was the job given to me. And I thought, beggars can't be choosers. So let me go ahead and then take it up and let me understand what it is. But, to my luck the environment, the person whom I was supposed to report, one regional field engineering manager, he resigned. He was a 58-year-old IBM veteran.
Oh.
And I was, by that time, if I'm talking about 1985, so I would have been around 28 years old. The manager, who was the All India Field Engineering Manager, called me. He told me, Jani, I was talking to you about the field specialist, but now I have a situation. I have my regional field engineering manager leaving. I believe we will be able to do the job.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have any idea about field, and I have never headed a field engineering related function in any capacity. But I was so surprised, but at the same time, it's a challenge, and then why not I take it up? Then I get to understand the dimension of it. One, it involves the 4 southern states, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. It includes Goa. It includes southern part of Odisha, which is Angul and Damanjodi, which is the NALCO manufacturing base, who are our customers. I had to cover all of them. And suddenly, from being an individual contributor or guiding 1 or 2 people, I need to manage something like a 50-member team and distributed across area offices of various locations, and then sometime even the customer location. And I need to manage everything, whether it is the technical support, whether it is spare management, whether it is AMC collection, making it a profit center, and then running it actually. So that is the opportunity that came up to me. And I took it up, and to my luck, we had a wonderful team, and we performed extremely well. And I had fantastic rating in the very first year. And on the second year after completing it, by that time, Wipro was deciding to enter into micros. Micros is nothing but the PCs of those days. Okay. And the PC needed a different game altogether. It needs to be done through channel selling. It needs to be done through franchisee support. It needs to be manufactured in volume. Cost is a very, very essential criteria. So many other things. So Wipro came back again and then told me, you have done a good job, but now you have all these exposures, and we have a challenge of getting into the PC market, which is a cutthroat market, which is a volume market, which is a cost-effective market. And customers are used to certain level of service, and then we need to ensure that it continues. So can you become the product manager for micros? So that's how, I became the product manager for the micros. That was somewhere around 1986, 87 time frame. And that continued for 3 years. Then I can continue the journey, and then a lot more exciting things to share. But if you have any questions in between, I can answer that, and then I can continue.
No question. Very interesting. Please continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I started that in 1987 as the micros product manager. And that involves in terms of defining the product that is needed in the market, architecting, doing R&D, making sure it goes through the manufacturing clearance, field clearance, and provide all the needed support for the field in terms of self-diagnostics and so many other aspects. Because in the field, one call to a remote location can wipe away the whole AMC collected for that year. So we need to several times, see that whether customers themselves will be able to diagnose and then say what is the problem. So like that, we need to cover various aspects. So that's what we did in 1987 to 1990 kind of a time frame. Around 91, a different opportunity came up actually. One day, our manager, Dr. Sridhar, and we were immediately reporting to one Dr. Rao. All of us together, we met because a meeting was called in. And in the meeting, Dr. Sridhar told, Dr. Mitta was the CTO and Dr. Rao was the R&D head, overall R&D head. So Dr. Mitta told that Dr. Rao has to move to Wipro Systems, which is our sister organization, because that needs a technical leader. So he will be moving there. And so a new leader has to be brought in for R&D. It can be anyone. It can be from outside. It can be from within the organization, but outside R&D, or it can be within the R&D itself. And, when he said that, I was so surprised with a sort of a unanimous voice from the rest of the leaders who were my peer level people, saying that why should we go outside actually? We have Jani here, why not he head the R&D? So, it's rarely, by election you get a leader coming up. So that was really a shock and awe surprise, a positive surprise for me. And, I became the R&D head in 91 time frame. Then somewhere around 91 is the one when, we decided that as a domestic R&D, things are changing because of liberalization. A Dell or a Compaq was coming in the micros, a DEC and IBM were coming in the larger system. Customers were looking for fault tolerance. Customers were looking for workstations. So Wipro can't be totally relying on the indigenous R&D. It needs to get certain tie-ups, joint ventures, and then get products from the market. So to some extent, R&D was under threat. But we had a visionary leader, that is Dr. Sridhar Mitta, when he told, if others' products can come into India and come into Wipro, we have tremendous R&D skills. Why should we keep our R&D skills only to Wipro? Why not we throw it up open and then why not we take it to the market? So a new concept of R&D as a service, which became later the product engineering service. We called it as global R&D. That happened in 91, 92 time frame. We started knocking at the doors of our customers, potential customers, like Intel, where we used to buy the processors. We were the buyers for them. We told that we understand your architecture. We know how to port Unix. We know how to port compilers and so many other things. Why not we do it for you? Similarly, we went to AT&T, which was holding the Unix at that time, saying that we will be able to do Unix port, and then we will be able to add databases. We will be able to do so many other things to them. We went to Sun Networks, which was making workstations and selling through Wipro, saying that we can make add-on cards for you. Whether it can be a multi-channel communication card, or whether it's a X.25 card or any such thing, including the drivers and so many other things, you will be able to do. That story clicked very well, actually. It was, I can say till then, the IT services was one known more for sending people abroad rather than projects coming in. And second, even if it is projects coming in, it was much more of IT services where you develop some applications or you do testing. Technologies were not so much outsourced, but we set the trend. And within a short duration, other people like that time PSI or HCL and others also caught up. And to make it a successful venture, we got Subroto Bakshi. You would have heard of him. He became the CEO for Global R&D. Okay. Where he used to take care of the sales and marketing, and I used to take care of the technology and operations. And both of us were running together the global R&D under the leadership of Dr. Mita. Somewhere around 94, 95, when quality, Six Sigma, ISO, SCI, so many other things became a mandatory requirement, not only in R&D, but in other divisions, as well as across Wipro Corporation. Subroto was roped in to head mission quality. And I became the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of Global R&D. And when we started the Global R&D business, Wipro was somewhere around 120 people R&D. By the time Subroto left, it was around 350 people. And the next 4-5 years, I continued as Chief Executive, and I grew it to 2,200 people.
Wow.
And then I moved to Mindtree. So I'll take a pause here. This is the Wipro story about me.
Yeah, I think it is a good segue. That is the curiosity question that I was going to ask anyway, about having grown with the organization, having a large team, doing all these things. What was the bug that bit you for the Mindtree transition?
We thank Siddharth for the music and Anita for promoting the Software People stories.
If you like this episode,
Please subscribe on your favorite podcast client.
And spread the word in your network.
if you'd like to share your story,
Contact us at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.